Demo reels are every animation industry artist's calling card. They showcase your best work and are key to getting you your dream job. During our live streams with industry professionals and Q&A sessions, we get asked a lot, how exactly does one craft that perfect, career-starting demo reel? In this series, we're going to cover some advice that we've had from our guests on what to put on your demo reel, how to get your demo reel noticed, and even how people making the decisions watch your reels. In the first episode, we'll be covering what recruiters and studios want to see from your demo reel. Stick around to the end of the video for a bonus tip. If you spend hours making sure all of your arcs and movements are perfect and producing a highly polished reel, there's a chance you may be overthinking it. Jacob Gardner is the head of animation for Agora Studio. He's spent the majority of his career working for DreamWorks Animation and was the animation supervisor on Alberto Mielgo's Love, Death and Robots Season 3 episode, Hibaro. Let's find out what Jacob says he looks for when viewing demo reels.
I would far rather see solid entertainment value in their work than polish. I feel like polish is easy to teach, but entertainment value is hard to teach, and that is something that comes from within them. Something they're bringing their ideas to the table as opposed to just executing flashy, nice arc stuff.
If you need further proof of this, let's hear from Andrew Gordon. Andrew spent 20 years at Pixar Animation Studios as an animator, directing animator, supervising animator, director of promotional content, and intern training lead. When Andrew caught up with the Agora team, he gave his best advice on what he looks for when viewing demo reels.
Well, I mean, it's changed so much, over the years. I think that the biggest advice I would give is that the word specificity is really important. It's very easy to make animation that looks like you went to school and you took an assignment and you did this or that. But if you add a little bit of character to that, or storytelling, or specificity of how a character does something, that's what the people those are the people I'm looking for. Is that I'm looking for a spark. Like, I don't necessarily care if your polish isn't absolutely perfect. I'm more interested in the idea of, like, how did this person come up with that idea, and are the acting ideas good? Obviously the weight and all that principle stuff should be like the jam on the toast, but it's more like, is the toast itself good? And I think that I want to see character. I want to see character. I want to see somebody that I could be like, that's just like my cousin. And I think that's what I'm interested in, in is ideas and storytelling. You should have all that other stuff there, principles, weight, squash and stretch, all that stuff. But ultimately, acting, like really good acting, and if possible, storytelling. Some people would get internships at Pixar. I led the internship there like 4 times, and sometimes people would get in on something they did with socks. Like they animated clothing with magnets, and they'd be like, wow, that looks amazing, and so we would take that person over somebody who had perfect polish, that had the perfect line. So I think that you want to show your creativity, and you want to show your ideas, and you want to, it doesn't always have to be a 2-person dialogue test, or there should be a weight test on, like make a story, make all that kind of stuff up, and also show people that you have great ideas. I think that's really important.
That's all very well and good, but what is entertainment value, and how could you include it in your animation? Let's hear back from Jacob.
Can you clarify what you mean then by entertainment? Like, how do you measure entertainment value?
I don't know how you measure entertainment value. That is an excellent question. Something that you can tell that they had fun doing the shot. It's not just an exercise they're trudging their way through.
Yeah.
They have surprising choices in a good way. Like, oh, I wouldn't have thought of having that little flick in their eyebrows or something right before that line. Something like that brings, it's a terrible example, but it brings something interesting to it that isn't just vanilla, and you can tell that they enjoyed themselves and they had ideas for doing this project. And as far as the question of what is usually missing, I think is the specificity. Like usually I'm looking at reels that have acting tests, like a character talking. And what is usually missing, and then this is also good because it's a window into entertainment value, is context. Like you were saying earlier, that let's say you have, as an example, if you have a doctor talking to a patient, if you take that as just plain vanilla, that can be super boring. But if you make it a brand new doctor who is talking to like his first patient, then that leads you down a bunch of avenues that can make it entertaining. Like, is he super nervous to ask the questions? Or is he super confident, like overconfident in a way he shouldn't be? Or is it a doctor that is like one day away from retirement and he's talking to maybe his final patient? And does that make him, and you can take that a bunch of different ways too. Like, is he done with this? He just wants to go home. Or is he being very caring because he's the last person that he's going to talk to as a doctor? Like getting the specifics of that character in that moment is what leads you to entertainment, because those choices matter.
So yes, it is important to have an understanding of the principles of animation, show proper weight, and have some nice arcs, but a perfectly polished reel isn't necessarily what recruiters want to see. Animation is entertainment, and if a studio can see that you know how to entertain and have solid ideas, that can help you win out over all of the other submissions. We want to leave you with a bonus tip on how to find the most entertaining ideas for your shots. But before we do, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the second episode in this series when we'll cover how recruiters watch demo reels. Simon Otto is currently a director at Locksmith Animation, but has spent 21 years of his career working at DreamWorks as head of character animation and story artist. He shared with us his method on how he finds the most creative way to find the entertainment value in his work.
To me, creativity or creating something very new or fresh or interesting or communicative, entertaining is something that it's a journey. You have to get there. And to me, it's sort of entering a black room, a dark room, where there's something there, and you start little by little hanging lights. And then you start, once you have 3 lights, you start judging it. Oh, okay, that's nicer if it's a little higher, and you start building out from that. So there are those people, of the James Baxters, although I've never had this conversation with him, who are just going to sit down and they just they can just produce that kind of genius. They see it in front of their eyes, which maybe James will say, no, that's not what I do. But to me, as the viewer, I go like, oh, well, James just sits down and does something amazing.
That's what it seems like, yeah.
That's what it seems like. But for me, it's a little bit like I do these checkpoints where one of the things I definitely do is when I watch a sequence and I have my shot in there, I watch the layout, watch the storyboard, then I close my eyes, I listen to the scene, I listen to the rhythm, and whatever comes to my mind then is the most obvious thing that I will then really record, and I picture what the scene will look like. And then I put that idea aside, because that's my fallback idea. And then I question myself and say, I'm going to come up with 10 other ways of solving this particular creative puzzle. And you can do that for writing, you can do that for storyboarding, you can do that for animation. And you create a list of all the other things you could do. And once you have that list of 10 things, he could be picking his nose, he could be turning around and walking back. He could be, instead of going to grab for it, he, whatever, all the 10 things with which you can grab things. And you compare all those ideas to the original idea you had, and you say, is this telling the story as well as the other one, which is the obvious one, and is it more original and it does the job of telling the story? And likely you're going to end up with some combination of one of your new ideas that you forced yourself to come up with the original idea that feels natural, the most natural.
Right.
So I think pausing to, again, tap around the dark room and say, well, what light bulbs over here and what could I find back here? And as you're walking through this room, you start seeing the shape of it.
We hope this video has got you thinking about how you can start implementing creativity and entertainment value into your demo reel. Be sure to check out more videos on this channel for advice from industry pros, and you can check out our website where you'll find more educational content, free animation rigs, and order animation reviews from our pool of industry experts. And if you're looking for an idea to start your next shot and put your skills to the test, you can join in our Anim Challenge, where we give you a different theme each month and have the submissions voted on by our community members. You can also get an inside look at how the pros craft their animation by following Frame by Frame's weekly animation breakdowns on whatever social platform you prefer. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay tuned and stay animated.